I will be examining 3 films more in depth for this essay. Let's start with the most abstract and least overtly transgender. The Last
Unicorn.
These images and sounds echo in my head. I have somewhat faint and disconnected, yet still salient memories of this fantastical film from childhood. Years ago, I remember finding the disc buried in our collection and trepidatiously inserting it, excited to watch it again after so many years, only to realize that it was damaged beyond repair. And so The Last Unicorn was no more. The DVD skipped too much. Years later, an ex of mine unearthed this artifact for me. I had all but forgotten about this film, but he mentioned that it meant a lot to him as a child, so we watched it. It all came flooding back. I was swept away by the intricate, gouache-like animation done by Topcraft, precursor to Studio Ghibli, and I was enthralled by the compelling characters of this dreamlike world. Based on the Peter S. Beagle novel of the same name, The Last Unicorn, 1982, is the most artistically sophisticated animated film that I watched and loved as a child. The sumptuous, jewel-colored world of the film complements the story's by turns dark and whimsical tone, really bringing this fairy tale to life. The Last Unicorn is, in my opinion, a very transcoded film. I'm not the only one to say this. Once you see the subtext, it's hard to ignore. One of the most popular Letterboxd reviews of it focuses on this interpretation. While unicorns are, at least in art history, most often associated with purity and sacredness, the eponymous unicorn is more symbolic of wisdom and inner strength, of transformation and self-realization. The unicorn has been isolated from her community, which has been harshly persecuted by King Haggard, driven into the sea by the monster, the Red Bull. Haha, I know. Told she is the last of her kind by hunters, and then confirmed by a nonsensical singing butterfly, the unicorn embarks on a journey to find her community. Along the way, she befriends a wizard named Schmendrick, who is better at friendship than at magic, and a kind outlaw named Molly. Once they reach Haggard's castle, Schmendrick transforms her into a human to save her life while they stay there and investigate the lost unicorns. Meanwhile, the unicorn falls in love with King Haggard's adopted son, Prince Lear, as she struggles to retain her identity and not slip away into the persona of Lady Amalthea, which Schmendrick created for her.
I tried to write a symphony, but I lost the melody. Alas, I only finished.
After they find out where the Red Bull is and try to defeat it, the unicorn transforms back from human form into her true form. Ultimately, she faces off against the Red Bull and drives it into the sea, freeing the unicorns. As the film follows the unicorn's quest to rescue others of her kind, it explores themes of a transforming identity and sense of self as it relates to the following dichotomies: isolation versus community, perception versus reality, and societal acceptance versus rejection. These themes are deeply relevant to the transgender experience. There are numerous details and bits of dialogue which can be interpreted as directly analogous to trans theming, which I will outline and break down by theme. Isolation versus community. Like many transgender people, the unicorn experiences a profound loneliness, which stems from her fundamental difference. Just like in Beagle's book, the mythic unicorn holds a special duality. She's representative of the numinous, something awe-inspiring and spiritually incomprehensible to us mortals. And yet, quote, Beagle's reconstruction of the mythos allows him to depict unicorns involved to a varying degree in the affairs of the mortal world, and to examine the desires and fears ruling human existence, end quote. The unicorn is something altogether unique, caught between these two worlds. In the words of Schmendrick at the end of the film,
"She will remember your heart when men are fairy tales and books written by rabbits. Of all unicorns, she is the only one who knows what regret is, and love."
Trans people, especially trans youth, can feel suspended between states of being. They often feel that there's no one else like them, especially if you grew up a little longer ago when there was less common knowledge of trans people, or if you're in a small town. It could be years before you meet or even hear about other transgender people. Regardless, it's easy for trans people to feel singular, isolated from any community. The unicorn is more than familiar with this, as she longs to feel like she's not the sole specimen of her kind. The unicorn's isolation is a huge theme visually throughout the movie. The unicorn is often shown alone in the frame to evoke this isolation. The montage of her set to On Man's Road is particularly poignant and representative of this loneliness. The song On Man's Road kind of juxtaposes the unicorn's mythic status with her role as kind of like a mortal hero now. She's kind of been transformed into man, well, human or something.
But I cannot lay me down. The rain comes dreary.
The harpy seems to be the creature with whom the unicorn feels most kinship.
Oh, she'll kill me one day or another, but she will remember forever that I caught her.
Even though the harpy, notably a symbol of the monstrous feminine, is certain to try to kill her, the unicorn frees her anyway, as she cannot bear to see this magical being imprisoned. Like many who are marginalized for their difference, the unicorn is moved by her empathy for the experience of the outcast, even to her own detriment. Social perception versus inner reality. Throughout the movie, people see the unicorn and other things as different from their true state. Upon her discovery that most people see her as a white mare, the unicorn scoffs and expresses offense at being perceived as a mere horse.
Prettiest old mare anywhere.
Mare? Mare? I? A horse? Is that what you take me for? Is that what you see?
When Mommy Fortuna, an evil witch who basically abducts her, takes the unicorn into her fraudulent freak show, she casts a spell for the audience, giving her an illusory horn right in front of her real one. Schmendrick, Mommy Fortuna's deceptively bumbling assistant, explains to the unicorn,
True, she can only disguise, and only for those eager to believe whatever comes easiest.
Schmendrick himself is a real magician who is seen as a farce, and she is a real unicorn who must be given a fraudulent signifier of appearance to be recognized as her true self.
I know exactly how you feel. It's a very rare person who is taken for what he truly is.
Will you help me?
Oh, if not you, no one.
Trans people must navigate a world of physical signifiers so that society will perceive them as they wish to be seen, whether those shallow signifiers of appearance are wanted or not. When the unicorn is transformed into the beautiful Lady Amalthea, this character which she must perform for her own safety in King Haggard's domain, she slowly starts to lose herself. The longer the unicorn stays in human form, the more she forgets her true nature, that she even ever was a unicorn. Until even King Haggard, who suspected all along that she was a unicorn, second-guesses himself. This could be analogous to a trans person detransitioning or choosing not to transition for their safety, and shoving their true feelings down until they forget about them. Even for those who do transition, if one focuses too hard on performing gender to cis society standards, say that 5 times fast, one can kind of lose oneself, like the unicorn does. I don't know, does that make sense? Societal acceptance versus rejection. Humans generally misperceive or try to exploit the unicorn. King Haggard and his Red Bull are especially representative of a society which is cruel to those who are different and special. In much the way that people harbor bitterness, which may even stem from envy towards trans people, #they hate us because they ain't us, King Haggard resents the unicorns for their ethereal beauty and freedom. Haggard treats the unicorns like his own personal collection. He has the urge to possess them, which is why he keeps them in a state of semi-death, confined to the waves. The color story illustrates this conflict very evocatively, as the aggressive masculine energy of the bull, represented by its plumes of red flame, contrasts with the resolute, cool-toned unicorns. A red bull also seems conservative-coded in the context of US political symbolism. And then, of course, there's the physical transformation element of it. When the unicorn gets physically transformed into a human woman, she experiences what could be described as dysphoria. See the song Now That I'm a Woman, where Mia Farrow, the voice of the unicorn, sings a not vocally strong but very emotionally affecting song of grief and confusion.
Everything is strange. I must go to him. I must face the bull again and discover what he has done with them before I forget myself forever. But I don't know where to find him. And I'm lonely. Once, when I was searching somewhere out of reach.
This physical transformation causes people to treat her differently, like King Lear, who falls for her thinking only that she is a mysterious human woman. But her true friends, Molly and Schmendrick, still try to remind her of who she is. Interestingly, despite this physical transformation, King Haggard kind of sees right through her, but pretends not to know who she is. He says,
Almost knew you as soon as I saw you on the road, coming to my door. Since then, there is no movement of yours that has not betrayed you. A pace, a glance, a turn of the head, the flash of your throat as you breathe. Even your way of standing perfectly still, they were all my spies.
This reminds me of how people claim to see right through trans people, as if we're pretending. Especially with all the transvestigating these days, I'm often paranoid that my every mannerism gives me away. While in this discordant state, the unicorn still manages to fall in love with Prince Lear. And I think their love is very real. They both risk their lives to save the other during the climactic sequence, kind of a reversal of the whole damsel in distress thing, especially because the unicorn herself is the one to save him and to save the day. But I know that Prince Lear truly loves her. You know how I know? Because instead of allowing her to forget her true nature so she can be with him, which would be pretty easy to do, he fights to restore her to her proper form, even though that dooms their love.
I want to die when you die. I'm no unicorn, no magical creature. I'm human, and I love you. Don't let him. Lear, I will not love you when I'm a unicorn.
Amalthea, don't.
Then let the quest end here. I don't think I could change you back even if you wished it. Marry the prince and live happily ever after.
Yes, that is my wish.
No. My lady, I am a hero, and heroes know that things must happen when it is time for them to happen.
They obviously cannot and do not end up living happy ever after in each other's arms, but the bittersweet ending is even more powerful. It reminds me of someone whose partner is supportive but knows their relationship still has to end when they transition. The love was still there and will always be, even if they're no longer compatible. And the unicorn will always be appreciative that Lear helped her become her true self. As I said before, the film emphasizes that the unicorn feels both love and regret, even though she knows what she must do. We don't like to talk about this aspect of transition much because, to be fair, it's not that helpful of a narrative to harp on, but it's worth acknowledging that transition is not a magical cure-all. There are even aspects of making that difficult choice that can be negative. In the midst of transition, one can feel regret and loss, like the unicorn feels at losing Lear. But in the end, she knows what she must do. I also wanted to mention this interesting moment with Molly, which reminds me a lot of the relationship between aging and deciding whether or not to accept oneself and transition. When Molly first meets the unicorn, she's one of the few humans who can immediately see the horn and recognize her for her true self. And Molly's reaction to meeting the unicorn is largely one of sorrow. She is resentful that the unicorn has taken so long to come to her, feeling that she wasted much of her life doing nothing more than doting on her husband, a fraudulent knockoff of Robin Hood.
Where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been?
Don't you talk to her that way.
I'm here now.
Oh, and where were you 20 years ago? 10 years ago? Where were you when I was new? When I was one of those innocent young maidens you always come to? How dare you? How dare you come to me now, when I am this?
The allegorical reading of this scene is pretty self-explanatory. There's even a meme that someone made about it. Clearly other people feel this way. Molly feels like life has passed her by, resentful of the unicorn, transition, taking so long to come to her. When all is said and done, do you think The Last Unicorn matches my previous definition of transgender allegory? As a reminder, that was some kind of bodily transformation, discordant feelings among the body, identity, and society at large, and narratives of marginalization becoming self-realization. I would say this one matches all three criteria quite well. I love The Last Unicorn. I feel like it already has a lot to say, and the transgender reading of the film just enriches it that much more for me. This allegorical reading of Beagle's work has been really important to a lot of trans people, including myself. This strange cult classic kids movie has been seminal in the forming minds of trans youth, even if we didn't make those connections at the time, and holds a special place in the hearts of many. Maybe I should get a fucking DVD copy. Alright, that's all for now. I'm splitting this video into 2 parts because I just wanted to get something out. Next, I'm going to be examining 2 other films, Border from 2018 and I Saw the TV Glow, more recent, 2024. So stay tuned for the other 2 films that I will be examining, as well as the conclusion. Thank you for watching. If you did watch this all the way through, I am so deeply appreciative. Also, you're probably my boyfriend.